Hello, this is Ioannis Grigoriadis. I'm a senior fellow at the head of the Turkey program at the Hellenic Foundation for European Foreign Policy and associate professor at Bilkent University in Ankara. I'm also holding the Jean Monnet Chair of European Studies there. Today, I'm glad to be joined in a podcast discussion by Evangelos Aretaeos. Evangelos Aretaeos is a leading Greek journalist who is a research associate at ELIAMEP, and we have collaborated on a recent seminar organized by ELIAMEP with the aim to explore the role of media in Greek-Turkish relations. This seminar was part of a program that was supported by DiaNEOsis and brought together ELIAMEP and Istanbul Policy Center, one of Turkey's leading think tanks, with the aim to explore Greek and Turkish public opinion's views of each other. So 5 opinion surveys were produced in the context of this project. And in the end, as a corollary to the project, there was this seminar that brought together Greek and Turkish young journalists to discuss and listen to senior figures in the field of media and Greek-Turkish relations regarding how things have developed over the last decades in Greek-Turkish relations through a media lens. So I will give the floor to Evangelos, who has been working in Turkey for many years. So he's one of the very few persons with this unique knowledge of the field. I will ask the first question, Evangelos. How have things changed regarding the media coverage of Greek-Turkish relations over the last decades?
Thank you, Ioannis. We have seen different changes because we have been through different periods. So we can roughly divide the periods between the early 80s until late 90s, and then beginning of 2000 to today. Well, the first periods, more or less 20 years, was a period that was mainly dominated by a staunch antagonism between Greece and Turkey. We had different crises. We had the seismic crisis in 87. We had the EMEA crisis in 96. We have the Öcalan crisis in 99. And then the summer of 99, we had the earthquakes, both sides. And this was the first time that media-wise, at least, something changed. We saw a very broad interest, both from Turkish media concerning Greece and the earthquake there. And of course, we saw a lot of interest and of Greek media for Turkey and the earthquake. Well, it was the first time that we saw from both sides positive reporting with a very deep sense of empathy from both sides. So this was the first time that media not only changed their way of reporting to each other, but also it was the first time just after the earthquakes, that media started to come together. Then we had a very positive period until the beginning of 2000. And this positive period became even more positive after 2002 and the coming to power of the AKP government. And what also changed after this period, after the 2000s, is that from the Greek side, we had more and more reporting on domestic politics and social issues on Turkey. The fact that it was a government, AKP government, coming from the roots of political Islam in Turkey was something that attracted the interest of the Greek media. and the fact that this reporting was generally positively read in Turkey also created a positive agenda on Turkish media concerning Greece. So we had this a long period of positive reporting from both sides that lasted more or less 10 years. And things started to change again after 2013 and the Gezi events, where for the first time Greek media started to become again more critical towards the Turkish government, and this also was reflected on how Turkish media started to report on Greece. After 2013 and until today, we can say that we have seen a big change of reporting, because we had again different crises. We have the crisis in 2020 with the immigrants. We had the crisis also in the summer of 2020 in the Aegean. Then another crisis between Greece and Turkey in 2022. So all these crises shaped again a very negative reporting from both sides, where mainly Turkey was portrayed as a provocative neighbor that was really looking for trouble, and was sometimes in the media they gave the sense that Turkey was almost about to invade Greece. And on the other side, from the Turkish media, we had a lot of reporting on how Greece allegedly treated immigrants, and how Greece was also provoking Turkey. So this period between 2020 and 23 was again a reminder of this period during the 80s and 90s, where the media of both sides played also a negative role in the relations between the two countries. Now, lately, we have seen again an ease of the tensions between the two countries, sort of rapprochement, which is also reflected again in both media, with this time not really positive reporting, but actually abstaining from negative reporting. So this is more or less the dynamic of the media of the last almost 40 years. And the big question that we tried to answer during our seminar, but I think that we could not really see clear, is if the media follows the politicians and shape the narratives of the politicians, or if the politicians follow the media and reproduce the narratives of the media. So this was one of the major questions of this seminar.
But can we talk about a coherent view of each other? So we can talk about a single dominant view in the media world, or can we argue about alternative or even possibly conflicting views in the Greek and Turkish media of this time?
Well, we can say more or less that there is a sort of coherence when it comes to the Greek media. Roughly speaking, the big picture of Turkey is of a very big neighbor that is in a sort of expanding foreign policy, that wants to change many things that wants to expand its power beyond its borders, either militarily or with other means. And it is generally seen as a very difficult and by times dangerous neighbor. On the side of the Turkish media now, again, roughly speaking, we have this image of Greece as being, as it is often said and written, a spoiled child, which means that the Turkish media portray Greece as a small country that is either used by other bigger countries who want to harm Turkey through Greece, or tries to mobilize these great powers against Turkey. And also lately, the last 4 or 5 years, we have also seen this picture of Greece as a terrible land for immigrants.
This is true, and of course, all these issues touch upon another very important aspect of media politics in our times, which is, of course, media manipulation, fake news. We live in an age of fake news, and the seminar discussed this as well. So how have fake news influenced Greek-Turkish relations? What was the main theme that appeared in the seminar?
Well, the main target of this fake news is the emotions and the psychology of the media consumers, the mass media consumers in both sides. And when I say mass media consumers, it doesn't mean that it's these news appear in the mainstream media, but mainly in social media, which are widely read. And generally, we have seen that they try to provoke negative emotions by showing pictures or making news that do not exist concerning symbols. For example, there was this picture, a fake picture of a Greek flag on the Acropolis mid-mast. And the news was that the Greek state declared a national a national day of grief because Hagia Sophia has become a mosque, which was absolutely not true. But with this support of this picture and the text, probably many consumers of news in Turkey, especially social news, believed it. And this is one of the most characteristic example of how these fake news work, because they actually target these emotions, because from both sides, Hagia Sophia is a very important symbol, and this fake news try to mobilize these negative emotions against the other.
But they haven't been considered as a sort of a leading aspect of Greek-Turkish media relations so far, at least, right? So it is something that is present, but it is something that to some degree remains still under control, because if we can look into other international disputes, issues, and countries where relations are sensitive, then we may argue that the extent to which fake news play a stronger role there may be larger than in Greek-Turkish relations.
That is true. For example, and of course it's not the same thing and we cannot compare, but just to give an example, when we see the power and the impact of fake news in the Russian-Ukrainian war, then we see how much dangerous fake news are. But of course, in the case of Greece and Turkey, we are far away from this level. However, we can see a potential danger, because these news as we just said, are mainly consumed by people using social media, and these consumers are mainly younger generations. So it might at one point become a problem or a potential risk because more and more young people consume this news.
But there is another aspect of framing, maybe, that is very important for Greek-Turkish relations. And this is something that we've already discussed in the seminar. So this is what we call national issues. Many of the issues in Greek-Turkish relations are named as national in both Greece and Turkey. So how does this affect the discussion on them?
Well,
there was a special session in the seminar on this. So
exactly. Unfortunately, what we have seen all through these years from both sides is that when it comes to what you just said is called as national issue or national interest, then the media have not been able to play almost any role because the frame in both sides is so so hard to break that we have seen that even during the periods of positive reporting, every time these kind of national issues was coming into the front, the reporting remained the same from both sides. So there is no actually critical view or critical journalism concerning these almost sacrosanct national issues from both sides. And that was again another question we tried to enlighten if the media finally played a really positive role in Greek-Turkish relations, or if they just again followed the political atmosphere and adapted. So we have seen that mainly media did not take any leading role in changing these hardcore national issues, again from both sides.
There was one special session on the survey series that I've already mentioned in the beginning of this conversation. This, of course, was a great opportunity to share a very rich set of data on the views of Greeks and Turks on each other, as well as their relationship. And this, of course, was the opportunity to highlight some interesting observations about similarities and differences in the ways that Greeks and Turks look into each other. Would you like to identify for us maybe 2 or 3 important points?
Well, the first important point, I think, is that in both sides, the people who want a political, diplomatic, peaceful solution of the issues between Greece and Turkey is the great majority. So there is only a small, really small minority in both sides who would be willing to accept a military solution, meaning a war between the two countries in order to solve these issues. And this is a very positive indicator of the psychology of both sides. Another important thing is that there is a very low trust in both sides or in media. In both sides, media were the last and the least trusted institutions. And while for both sides, again, the most trusted institutions were the military and the police, which shows, first of all, which is evident and obvious that the media did not manage to play their role and inspire trust by some objective or more or less objective reporting, not only on Greek-Turkish relations, of course, but generally speaking. And also the fact that in both sides there is this feeling that the military is the most trusted institutions for different reasons. For Turkey, because Turkish foreign policy the last almost decade has been heavily militarized, so the army does play a very active role in Turkish foreign policy. And on the Greek side, precisely because there is this feeling of threat from Turkey.
Thank you very much. Let me add another dimension we consider to be important in what appears as a comparison of the views of Greek and Turkish societies. Turkey appears much more present in Greek public discourse compared to Greece's presence in the Turkish public discourse. So this is linked to the fact that Greeks have visited Turkey more often. Like more than 35% of Greeks have stated that they visited Turkey at least once in their lives, while the number of Turks that have visited Greece is no more than 3%. But on the other hand, this discussion also refers to some consolidated opinions that are stronger in Greece compared to Turkey. So the diversity of views about Turkey in Greece appear to be more homogeneous across age groups, across ideological affiliations, across gender compared to Turkey. And what is also interesting is that in the case of Turkey, political affiliation appears to be a significant predictor of views on Greek-Turkish relations in Greece. While in the case of Greece, this is not the case. It's more likely that a certain set of opinion about Turkey is accepted across the Greek political spectrum. Let me highlight here that all the data of these surveys are available online, and we offer also the raw format of them. So researchers can use them to run regressions and try to find new interesting sort of conclusions that our research has not highlighted. So I would invite anybody interested in Greek-Turkish relations with some quantitative method skills to look into that, and maybe something very interesting can come out. But we also had the opportunity towards the end of our seminar to discuss another critical dimension of Greek-Turkish relations over the last decade: energy. Energy has been in the heart of Greek-Turkish relations since the 1970s, when hydrocarbons became the topic of the day and the decade, maybe, in Greek-Turkish relations. That was oil extraction possibilities in the Aegean. Later, the interest shifted from the Aegean towards the Eastern Mediterranean with the discoveries of natural gas reserves. I would argue that the big opportunity was missed there for both countries that didn't manage to find a way to resolve their disputes in that respect. Now we have another opportunity, which is the renewable sector. So renewables may become another instrument for collaboration between Greece and Turkey, assuming, of course, that the big problems that have been looming for decades can be resolved. So what was your view from the discussions we had in the seminar, Evangelos?
Well, I think that, as you mentioned, there is a very big difference between the energy until 2000s and now, because when it comes to all these old types of energies, mainly oil, even natural gas, which is somewhere in the middle, they could have been a big chance of cooperation, but actually it was the opposite. They became a matter of deep dispute. But as we have seen in the seminar, the renewables are a completely different story. By nature and by dynamic, they can bring together Greece and Turkey precisely because they are both countries in a corridor of energy, not only the old type of energy, but renewables. And because of the fact that renewables can bring easier people together because they do not really depend on issues of national sovereignty. So renewables have the potential to become something that can bring together Greece and Turkey in energy. And this is something that, as we've seen during the seminar, should be more explored by politicians in both sides, but also by the business world.
I very much agree that renewables may pose a great opportunity for collaboration between Greece and Turkey, and this is something that could give a strong message already in the Eastern Mediterranean and in Southeastern Europe. Energy collaboration is something that the European Union also has been seeking for many, many years as a way to reduce dependency on Russian natural gas. But I think that given the positive momentum in Greek-Turkish relations over the last year and the attempts of both countries to identify areas for developing a common positive agenda, it is possible that collaboration in the field of renewables can proceed, and this hopefully may produce opportunities for a new pressure look on the outstanding disputes that can be resolved according to international law and for the benefit of both the Greek people, the Turkish people, and the whole region. So, Vangeli, I would like to thank you very much for this discussion and look forward to another conversation on issues that refer to Turkey, Greece, and our region as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Yanni.